Hi all, today we're going to be talking about the L86A2, which is an LMG, Battlefield 4. It's one of your starter LMGs, thanks to some DLC that I don't remember the name of, and it's pretty alright. Honestly, it plays more akin to an assault rifle than a true LMG, and whether this is a good thing or a bad thing is largely up to how you like your LMGs. Still, I like it. I think it's a relatively decent weapon. I think it's a good learner weapon for what it's worth, and I'm having fun with it, so I wanted to talk about it. Uh, it's just an enjoyable gun to me. It's not the best thing ever, I would say. It has fairly low damage output on the whole scale of things. You will lose out to closer quarters weapons, but it's still a reasonably accurate weapon that works well out into the mid-ranges if you're burst firing, which you should be. So, as I stated, the L86's main trait is it's more like an assault rifle. Honestly, it's with only a 30-round magazine. You can't suppress fire that effectively compared to the other LMGs. Of course, this does have its own share of upsides. I mean, you don't have to eat a super long reload whenever you need to reload, but you can't suppress a lane as well as, say, your standard LMGs would. Still, I like it. I think it's a fairly decent weapon. So, for the attachments, I found a red dot to work the best. Obviously, if you prefer the hollow, you prefer the hollow, or if you have any of the other 1Xs unlocked, that's up to you. I found that the 3.4 and the 4 didn't really work. Honestly, they're just kind of overkill for this gun. You don't need to fight that far away for these optics to really be, like, justified. The L86 doesn't shine at particularly long ranges, and you'll usually just get beaten out by DMRs, snipers, I wouldn't recommend them as a whole. As for the accessory slot, the magnifier. It just gives you that 2x so that if you do need to push the gun out a little bit farther, you can, or if you simply prefer a 2x zoom overall, you just flip the thing up and you leave it on. Obviously, the laser sight works fine as it just is like a general stat slot. It's fine. It's just a free buff. It's up to you, though. For the barrel, I found the heavy barrel was best. The L86 has really decent accuracy, and once you get both a heavy and a stubby on it, it's a fairly accurate gun, all things considered, at least out into the mid-ranges. Spray pattern's also pretty easy to get down as well. So I'd recommend the heavy barrel. The recoil is really not that severe on this gun. You don't need a muzzle brake or a comp or anything, so I would probably just go for the heavy barrel. It's just more accuracy, you know? Same story for the stubby grip. It's just more accuracy. It's pretty simple like that, you know? You make the gun as accurate as you can make the gun, so it feels like a really accurate assault rifle that just unfortunately doesn't have very much damage output. So, as we do things around here, which most people will not know because this is my first Battlefield video, hello if you're new, we review guns live here. We are on a match of propaganda. Hopefully it's a decent game, I'm not really sure, I've just loaded into it. And, well, we're going to use the gun, and I'm going to play with it, so you can see what it looks like in the hands of an average player in a fairly average situation, because that's how we do things around here. And, you know, I'll give my thoughts on it, discuss whatever I think I need to discuss as we play. It's that simple. So, the L86 mainly suffers from damage output. It's not a, slow killing gun by any means, but it's certainly not a fast killing gun. It's not going to be winning any battles in close range unless you have good aim or the other guy is just bad, which fortunately there are a lot of bads, but, you know, still, just keep in mind that against skilled players, you're probably going to lose engagements because the rate of fire is simply not that good. It's only 700, and I believe the gun itself only does 24 damage per bullet within max range, so make of that what you will. Still, it does shine within the close to mid-ranges, especially in that probably 20 to 40, 50 meter range, because, well, you have enough accuracy to comfortably work in that range, for one, and two, the guns that would beat you out in the close ranges, well, they don't have the accuracy to beat you out in those ranges. That was not a very good position. Supremely unfortunate, but we do what we must. I consider myself a fairly average player. I've got about 50 hours in Battlefield 4, so I haven't played that much, especially given it's a 10-year-old game. I'm a bit late to the party in that regard. But I'm having fun, so I wanted to make a video. It's that simple. Other problems with the L86 include, well, its long-range accuracy. It's not that accurate at long range. Obviously, it's an LMG, and it's more of an assault rifle-style LMG at that, so obviously it's not super accurate at long range. What did you think it was going to be? It's not a DMR. I wish it was a DMR, but alas, it's not. Still, it's a fairly decent weapon, all things considered. I think it's a better learner weapon than the U100, if that means anything. I found the U100 is just not fun to use. I find that the L86, for also getting it right off the start, or at least being an incredibly easy unlock, is just much better as a whole. It's not a conventional LMG, and obviously if you want a conventional LMG, the L86 is not your pick. But if you want to grind LMGs while not having to use an LMG, quote-unquote, it's a pretty decent option. At least, I'm having fun with it, as I can say. We're going to push to Delta here. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully. This match is rather interesting. Propaganda is not my favorite map by all means. It's a fine map, but it's not something I particularly care for. But, you know what? When this game is 10 years old, you have to take what you can get in the way of servers. You also have to accept the fact that I am fairly new, and a lot of people have been playing this game for too long. So, you know. Hopefully, we can get this respawn. Okay, we'll get to push this C. Interesting spawn location. You have an ammo crate, buddy. You'll do alright. There's gonna be a guy in that building. I'm gonna chuck a nade at the window. No luck. I was hoping to throw it a bit higher and maybe blow up the windows, but, you know, it is what it is. Fortunately, we're losing this push quite badly. In fact, from what I can tell, we are losing this match quite badly. We're down 300 kills, give or take. Unfortunate, but I'll do what I can. Really? Grenade launcher? Shitter. It's the thing with doing these things live, lads. You get what you get. Not a whole lot you can do about it. I'll do my best. So, yeah, the L86, I like it. I think it's a good gun. I think it's worth your time. But do I think it's better than, like, a true LMG for true LMG purposes? No, not really. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from putting a bipod on it and using it more like a conventional LMG. But at that point, with only 30 rounds, it's not exactly a good lane suppressor. It's not like you can just prone in a corner on locker and lock a lane down with it like a shitter. You can't pitch a tent with it, which is severely unfortunate. That guy's corpse just went flying, goddamn. Oh, this is not the location I'd like to be in. Ouch. Unfortunate. A blunder of massive proportions, one might say. It is what it is. So yeah, at this point I'm basically just playing the game and using the L86, so you can get a feel what the gun looks like for an average player on an average server. I've probably repeated myself quite a few fair times by now, but you know, it is what it is. Dome him with the Deagle, that's a good feeling, always a good feeling. I find the Deagle makes a nice backup to the L86, that's important. Because, honestly, since the L86 mostly has its huge weakness being close range output, I'd say pairing it with a pistol like either the Glock 18 or the Deagle works really well. It just gives you that close range punch that the L86 itself doesn't really have. Whereas a more accurate pistol, a more standard pistol, if you will, obviously they're not bad. Use whatever pistol you like. It's your choice, not mine. But I personally find that they don't perform as well just because you want to be making up that short-range disadvantage, and it is Battlefield. You can't always force a perfect engagement to happen within the engagement ranges of your gun. That's just not how video games go, generally. You know, you might be a really good player, but, you know, there are times where you'll get caught off guard, and there's just not a whole lot you can do about it. This is a really, really shitty position to hold. Like, this is a really shitty position to hold. I'm honestly expecting to get mortared, and it will be supremely unfortunate if one lands directly on my head, destroying everything I know and love. Looks like we can push out a E, maybe, allegedly. We will have to see how it goes. That was a bad time to finish a reload, but we got very, very lucky there. I would say, in my experience, the L86 works best in bursts of, like, 4, 5. You can burst it a little bit longer within closer ranges, obviously. But at longer range, it's definitely more of a 2 to 3 shot burst, 2 to 3 shot burst, 2 to 3 shot burst kind of gun, just because, well, at long ranges, it's not as accurate as you might want it to be. Obviously, that's how Bloom works. We're gonna push on this outer side here. I'm not sure how much longer I'll keep playing. Probably try and get a couple more kills at least. Get dragged along by the tank, get a kill assist out of it. That's cool, I guess. Of course, if this were reality, I would have just been road killed in a horrific way due to a friendly fire incident, but, you know, it is what it is. You lose the burst guns at range, but I probably should have brought that up. But, yeah, you kind of get stomped on by burst guns. Because, well, it's a relatively low rate of fire LMG that's more suited for mid-range. And burst fire guns just kind of outperform you. It's unfortunate, but, you know, That's how Battlefield 4 goes. The burst fire guns are good. Have a grenade. Grenade does nothing. That's unfortunate. I like the impact grenades, but a frag probably would have suited me better there. We'll try and make a push. You're camping the corner. Doesn't really work out for you, buddy. Unfortunate. Sorry to hear. Drop another guy. Yeah. So, long story short, the L86, it's a nice gun. Definitely feels more like an assault rifle, so if you don't want to really commit to the plunge of LMG traits, it's a nice option. Especially if you're just trying to grind your way through the LMGs and you want something a bit more conventional. Because obviously, as a first starter unlock gun, this could very well be a gun that a new player learns on. So I think it's relatively decent. Ow, I get crunched by a mortar. I'd say it's better than the U100. But I also just don't like the U100. So I very well could be biased. I think that's probably a good place to call it. I got 16 kills. I have a positive KDR. That's exactly where we're going to call it, because that makes me feel a bit better about myself. So, the L86. I like it. It's a decent LMG. It's not perfect. It's honestly more like an assault rifle, in which case you might just ask yourself, why not pick a carbine? And honestly, I'd have to agree. But still, if you want to level LMGs and you don't want to commit to big magazine, it's a fairly decent option. Thank you all. Please let me know if I should do more Battlefield 4 videos, because this is my first one. And I don't know how it's going to be. So, thank you all if you're still here. Bye.